Welcome to this video. In this video, we'll show how to create a new C4 project, fill it with elements, manage the connections, and export it in the format you need. This is the project we're going to create. It consists of a system landscape you can drill into, all the way down to component level, where you can see the inner details of an application. Using this format, you can navigate through the project with ease and find the information you're looking for. We'll define connections as well as the layout. We start off with a blank project. We give it a name and a short description, and press Create. To add more description on top of it, we first click Edit. Then we create a new diagram. Just give it a name and press OK. Then dismiss the dialog. Now we're back at an empty project where we can create our first element. We press Add and create a new person. We change the name of that person and describe what their role is. We press Add again, and this time we choose a software system. Following the same pattern, we fill in the name and a short description. Those elements become visible as nodes on the canvas. You can draw a line simply by dragging it from the node to the element it needs to connect to, and this way we build up the whole system. We now have two software systems, and a core banking system has been added. Next, we give the connections descriptive labels. Just click on the label or click on the connection and type in the label. This helps you identify later on which connection is which, but it also makes the diagram readable and understandable so you can see the intent of every connection. We've created our first diagram, but this is only one level. C4 has multiple levels. So we now add a new element inside the software system by pressing the button on the software system itself. This makes it a layered element within that system. We can give it a name, but you'll notice that nothing actually changes on the diagram itself. Using the magic wand, a new diagram is created and all the relevant elements are placed in it. The system we expanded with new containers is now shown as a group in the diagram, and inside it are the new elements. We can rearrange things to bring out the structure and get a better feel for how that software system is built. We can add more containers to the group by pressing Add, and then we can add new connections as well, simply by dragging from one node to the node the connection needs to reach. We can also drag a connection out of a node into empty space, and it will ask what you want to create at the end of it. This is another way to create a new element within the diagram, because it's already inside the group. It also places it correctly within the C4 hierarchy. Deleting is just a matter of selecting the element and deleting it. We can rearrange the connections however we want, realign everything, and then we're good to go. Sometimes you want to change the layout or style of an element. You can do that by adding an icon on a single node, but that has a consequence. You'd have to do it for every node individually. Instead, what you can do is go to Settings and create your own theme for a particular display type. In this case, we're going to make one for a database. We choose green as the base color and pick an icon. Now, for every node that is a database, we just select that display type, and it will show up in that theme and with that icon. We're going to add another layer to the diagram. This time, we select the container and press Add on it, which creates a component within this container. Again, using the magic wand, a new diagram is created for us with all the relevant items already placed. What we need to do now is rearrange the connections, because they need to point to the inner parts of the container, the components that actually live inside it. So we can drag the connections, change them, and drag new components into the diagram, creating subcomponents in the container. You can then drag an existing connection onto an internal component, and it will automatically be attached. You can even drag from outside the container and create a new component inside that container. Rearranging can be done by clicking the Rearrange button or by using the alignment lines to make a visually appealing diagram. Placing the items that don't belong to the container outside the boundary box makes it clear what is inside the container and what isn't. Using the magic wand, you can check whether anything is missing, and if you want an element that has no connection yet, you can drag it in from the list on the left onto the diagram and it will be added. Let's create a new software system. We give it a name and then drag it onto the diagram. Once it's on the diagram, we add a relation to it, and now it's connected to an inner part of the component. This also means there is implicitly a relationship at the container level above. That's why we use the magic wand again. Go one level up, and you'll see the new component has automatically been added there too, and even on the highest level, it's now present. So creating something once at a lower level and using the magic wand helps you build all the diagrams and keeps them in sync with reality. To manage all the connections, we can also go to the Connections button and open the Connection Manager. Here we see all the connections. On the left, the From side. On the right, the To side. We can click any of the elements to highlight which connections are active, and we can change the connections accordingly. We can even drag connections if they sit at a higher level and you want more detail, or if they're connected to the wrong element, you can simply put them where you want them. Using the filter, you can narrow down the number of things you see, and the element you selected is highlighted at the top. This is a good way to validate whether there are duplicates, whether implicit connections have also been defined explicitly, or whether there are any flaws in the connections. You can also easily check whether all the connections have a label, so you can see what you still need to add to make the diagram more understandable. Finally, we come to the last part, exporting the project. Once you've validated that everything is in place and the layout is correct, you can walk through it using the navigation buttons in the context and property panes. Then you go to the top, click Project, click Export, and you can export everything you've defined in the project. You can select what you want to include, whether or not you want a legend, which layer you want to export, how the images should look, for example, transparent, and which table layout to use. After that, you can either download it as Markdown, which creates a zip with all the files in it, or create a PDF. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.